to remember this line right here. If there's anything that you get from tonight's session, it's this. Done is better than perfect. Welcome to another session today of 5 Minutes to Happy. In today's session, we're talking about perfectionism, being a perfectionist. Do you remember, like, in school, maybe in elementary, high school, or college, we'd have reports. You'd have group reports, group projects, where we'd write the report in Manila Paper. You'd have, like, different people writing things on the Manila Paper, and then we'd have, like, somebody to report it. Do you remember those days? You remember those days in school before? Now, usually there's always this one groupmate, who was never really happy with the Manila Paper, what was on the Manila Paper, and then, like, in the middle of making it, this group mate would say, hey, you know what, there's an erasure, let's do it again, or maybe the font's too big. This group mate would complain, right? This group mate would find something to complain about, and then the entire group would have to make the whole thing again because of this classmate, because of this group mate. Now, a lot of us have this problem. Okay, and this is something that's very common. We want things to be perfect. We want things to be perfect, and we work so hard for our work to be perfect, for what we do to be perfect, when in the end it doesn't really make that much of a difference. And this could be this is shown in different ways. Okay, this perfectionism can be shown in different ways, such as taking 30 minutes to type a single email. Have you done that? Like, you write it and then you read it again and you say, I don't feel like it, I don't feel it. And then you read it again, and then it takes you 30 minutes just to type a basic email. Another is maybe you're like updating the design of a social media image until you really feel 100% confident in it. Maybe you take a picture, you adjust it, take another picture, you adjust it, you apply some filters, you make some changes. This is something that's very common in a lot of people. Maybe not one of the examples here, but in different ways it can show itself. Now, the thing is, in the end, it didn't really matter. The changes that you make, the hours that you spend, or the minutes that you spend making those changes, it doesn't matter in the end. And that's the curse of perfectionism. Perfectionism, what it does is it stops us from completing a task on time. And because of that, it causes us to waste resources. It causes us to waste valuable resources. And in the current world, in the current business climate, speed matters more than perfection. Okay, speed matters more than perfection. I want you to remember this, okay? I want you to remember this line right here. If there's anything that you get from tonight's session, it's this. Done is better than perfect. When I launched the VA Bootcamp, which most of you are familiar with, it had so many mistakes. But if I waited for everything to be perfect, someone might beat me to the market. Someone might launch a course first. And I would still need to redo it anyway, to update it. Like a year later, I had to redo it anyway. The time that I would have wasted, making every lesson perfect, making every image perfect, I used that time for marketing and creating more content for the audience. What I'm saying that there comes a point when you're working on something, okay, and that when you spend more time, it provides very little quality improvement. At first, there's a lot of quality improvement, but at a certain point, the quality doesn't really improve. Now, personally, on my own, I submit work when I feel around 80% confident in it. Okay? 80%, that's when I submit my work. Usually, like, if it takes me 1 hour to get to 80% confidence in my work, it would take an additional 4 hours to get it 100%, and I'd waste so much time. That 20 additional percent would take me 4 hours. So that's why I submit my work at 80%. Now, this is what I want to remind you and reiterate to you. Done is better than perfect. Okay, done is better than perfect. I want to advise you to never wait until you are really 100% confident in something, because that will never happen. That never really happens. Try to notice when it's time to move on. And that's when your time, your effort, and your energy that you're spending on a task or on a project, it's no longer beneficial. You're wasting time. And like with me, I spend 4 hours getting to 20%, from 80% to 100%. those extra 4 hours, you can spend those on things that really matter, or spending time doing the things that you love and with the people that you love. All right, what do you think? Let me know what you thought. Once again, these are short sessions, 5-minute sessions that I'm sharing with you. On Thursday, we're going to be talking about finding the perfect mate. I know this was a requested topic, and a lot of people might be excited for this, but we're talking about finding that perfect mate for you. That's Thursday, 7 p.m. on this page. Thank you guys so much for your time. Once again, I'd appreciate it if you like the page, if you shared this, also if you left a review. It really help us out, in spreading the messages on bringing well-being, on bringing happiness to all of us.